Too Many Toyotas.
Hello everybody, this is Triple T or Too Many Toyotas. I'm standing here in front of my 1991 Camry that I just pulled out of winter hibernation. Thinking I got to do an oil change on it, it's about time. And I heard there's been something that's been causing a bit of controversy and doom and gloom spreading in the Toyota community. And that's this here's 0W8 motor oil that they're using in a lot of their new models. M20A, A25A, FKS, stuff like that.
You know what this Toyota and this Gladys of water have in common? Is they both have the same viscosity as this new motor oil. It's just absolutely crazy to me that Toyota's thinking that's gonna be enough to protect this engine long term. But at the end of the day, this uses real oil, 5W30, and that's a thin oil. That's a thin oil. You can't tell me long term that 0W8 oil is going to protect the vital parts of the engine properly.
So I thought to myself, what if I just put this oil in a 35-year-old engine? Now this engine's not in the greatest of shape ever. It burns a little bit of oil, probably a quart every 1,000 miles or so, which I guess under warranty standards is fine these days. It wasn't back in the day. But yeah, and it's got a couple other little issues like the IAC valve sticking, and there's just you know, basically it's a 35-year-old motor with not the greatest of tolerances. Even after I replaced the valve seals, it's still burning all that oil. And yeah, that was in my timing belt and seals replacement guide if you've never seen that one. But so yeah, we've done all that, and now it's time to see what happens when we do this oil change. Now I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is. I'm hoping this thing doesn't explode. But if this motor can survive this, I'm pretty sure your brand new car with extremely tight manufacturing tolerances and 0 miles on it can probably also handle it. So I've installed an oil pressure gauge. We're gonna do a compression test before and after, and then this is probably gonna be a multi-video series here, because I'm probably gonna drive this thing a couple thousand miles and see what the results are. I might even do an autocross with it, but I guess we'll words out on that still. But let's get started with the little procedure here and yeah, get going. All right, so the first part of this little experiment here, this car's been sitting here for about 4 days, hasn't ran. I've had to use a jump pack to start it because of that, because yeah, the battery's still pretty discharged from being out all winter. So yeah, I'll probably charge it during the oil change so we don't have to do that again. But either way, the first thing we're gonna do is watch what the oil pressure does on a cold start. So I haven't changed this yet. So this is about 2,000 mile old 5W30 conventional. If the thing will start at all, damn. Well, that's uncommon. There we go. So as you can see, maybe not the healthiest engine ever. Usually it starts right up though. But I guess that's what we got. That's what I had a couple days ago when I tried starting it as well. So about 60 PSI oil pressure at cold idle. So we'll go outside, take a detailed listen to how the thing sounds. Sounds pretty good. So the other thing that concerns me about this engine is how dark the oil gets and how quickly it gets dark. So like I said, I'm pretty sure the oil in this engine is only about 12 to 1,500 miles old if I had to guess. And yeah, it's already pretty dark. So again, I don't know how good of health this engine is actually in on the inside, but from this it doesn't seem to be the greatest. Alright, so while we're waiting for the engine to warm up, I could talk about one other thing for this experiment. So instead of the N1 filter, I like to use these N3 filters, the genuine ones, on these cars. You can see I got it on my 3SGE as well. I've been using these for a long time on these motors. Basically, so that's actually the oil filter for a twin turbo Tundra. But the thing is, back in the day, in 2019 and before, they had an oil filter called the F2 that was standard on almost every Toyota car at the time, or like 4-cylinder cars at least. And that filter was around the size of this. But then they downsized to the N1 filter, and I just decided, now that they came out with these N3s, it's about the size as the old F2 that the car was spec'd with from the factory. So we're going to use that with this test, just because the thing, since it might have some bearing material in it already and, you know, is not in the greatest of shape, I think it needs all the filtration it can get. So we'll at least use a factory size filter instead of the miniaturized modern filter. But I'll go ahead and do that oil change after the compression test. Well, at least they're all semi-even. I think cylinder 2 was the best at about 175 or so. And so yeah, that's pretty good results actually. I wasn't expecting it to be that good. But I guess we'll see what it's like on 0W8 after we've taken that for quite a long trip. Alright, so this is the 5W30 we drained out. There was a little bit of sludge in the bottom of this thing, so it's not a perfect representation. I mean, doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of metal shavings in it, but it's definitely not brand new oil either. Like I said, not a whole lot of mileage on that for how dark it is. And I'll put myself pouring some in on screen just so you can't say I put 5W30 in it off screen. Here we go. And just the last quart here, it's like the, it's about 0.2, it says 4. I've always done 4.2 or so. That was just the last quart I showed adding. But trust me, there'd be no point in faking this anyway, so. Alright, and then we're also just gonna change our N3 filter here. As you can see, I was already running an N3 on this on my previous oil change and there was no issues. Here's our new N3, just took the plastic off. All right. Okay, we'll get a start here. Should be ready to go because I charged the battery. Let's watch this gauge. Now it's starting to come up. Still just around 60, 62-ish. So not a big change to the cold pressure. I guess in a minute here we'll go drive it around, see what it does then. Alright, and I should have also mentioned I haven't shut it off or let it warm up. This is it running cold. It's alright, I'll take it for a drive, get it running good, and we'll come back around and take some look at it. Alright, so we're back from our short test drive here. I think I went, what? I think I started at 151. But it's up to operating temperature. Looks like it's idling around 22 PSI, which I think is a little bit lower than with the 5W30. I think we were around 25 to 27. But yeah, it's still doing good. It's still going right to 60 on acceleration, staying between 40 and 50 on cruise. That's about what I was seeing with the 5W30. I did a test drive with it yesterday before I hooked this all up for the video. So I guess all that's left now is just to keep driving it and see if anything happens. But at least for now it seems to be tolerating it well, and I guess we can open up the hood here and listen to it run on the 0W8 after a prolonged drive. Sounds pretty quiet to me. And like I said, that IAC valve is broke, and excuse me for that because I've actually tried to fix it, but apparently the part is just completely non-existent these days. Oh yeah, there's that LS430 I passed on the way here. That's quite the spectacle, but anyway. Yeah, I can't even find an IAC valve to replace on this thing. I tried ordering one that was supposedly the right part number and it didn't fit at all, so I guess we're just stuck with a Lopi idle for now. But yeah, I've just washed this thing up, I guess, today, get it detailed all nice, and then just start driving it daily for a little while and see what happens. So yeah, this is Triple T or Too Many Toyota signing off.